Alright boys, late to the party. A lot has happened since I last recorded my update for the Euro competition, but let's get into everything that's been going on in the Euros since I last talked about the Euros. We're gonna go group by group. As of recording this, only groups that are really locked in as of right now is Group A. So we're just gonna go through everything that's happened Group A so far. So in the second round of matches, Germany played against Hungary. Germany this game, not as good as they were against Scotland. Go figure, Hungary's gonna be the better team, but they still won pretty convincingly 2-0. They did give up a lot of chances, however, they managed to take control. Musiala did his thing. Gundogan had a phenomenal game. They got the job done, so they ended up winning 2-0. And then alongside this game, we had Switzerland and Scotland. Not the most entertaining game on paper, but both teams ended up getting one goal and they ended up drawing 1-1. Of course, McTominay was the one who got the goal for Scotland, but Switzerland, as usual, like I said last time in these competitions, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they ended up bringing it back with the phenomenal Shaqiri goal. Another one of those players that just shows up every single international tournament for no reason. Drew the game 1-1, meaning for Scotland and for Hungary, it was really gonna come down to that final round to see if they maybe had a chance to get over Switzerland. So the round 3 matches that just happened today for Group A were absolutely crazy. We saw 2 last-minute goals that changed absolutely everything in this group. So we'll start off with Switzerland and Germany. So Germany, for them, this was probably the worst game they have had in the tournament so far. Going forward, they looked very lost, and it just seemed like they could not make things click, and that was really to their detriment. That really allowed Switzerland, I think, to get into the game more and more as the time was going on. In 28th minute, they ended up getting their first goal, and from there, Germany really didn't look like they were causing too many problems until Nicholas Füllkrug entered the picture. Not to speak down on Kai Havertz, because he's been having a pretty good tournament so far, but Füllkrug being that focal point at the top of the attack really allowed them to cross the ball in, hope for the best, because that's something they really were not getting with Havertz up top, but different striker profile, so I get it. But Germany, in the 92nd minute, ended up getting the equalizer goal, probably on par with some of the other goals we've seen this tournament, definitely in terms of technique. That header from Füllkrug was absolutely beautiful. They get their goal, they remained first place in the group, meaning Switzerland was gonna be in second place now no matter what. So those two were locked in. But parallel to this game, Scotland versus Hungary. So first off, for this game, I do want to say hopefully the striker from Hungary is okay. He did have a pretty scary fall. I'm not going to show any of the clips here because it was kind of crazy, not gonna lie, but hopefully he's all right. But this game did also see drama up until the final minute, so it was pretty much in a stalemate the entire time. At the 100th minute, up steps Sobos, who wins the game for Hungary at the death. The guy put his country on his back and essentially makes sure that Hungary was gonna finish third place in the group. They did everything they could, so commends to Hungary for that. Scotland are yet to progress out of the group stage in any international competition that they played a part in, so again, to Matt Quill's dismay, Scotland have had an absolute stinker in this tournament. But like I said, boys, the final standings are going to be Germany in first place, Switzerland in second, Hungary third, and Scotland in fourth. So as I said, that is the only group that is really locked in. Everyone else plays from this point forward as of me recording this, so I'm going to go over what I have seen with my eyes so far. So last week saw again a crazy performance from Albania that had pretty much everyone shook up until they let it slip away. So they would get a goal against Croatia early on at the 11th minute, where honestly they didn't really have control of the game, but they were defending for their life. Despite all the attacks that Croatia was throwing at them, they managed to stay alive in the game. However, at the 74th minute, it was just too much for them. Croatia got their goal to equalize the game, and then 2 minutes later they went ahead after an own goal went in, making it 2-1 for Croatia. However, Albania again at the death, 95th minute, get the goal to tie the game, which realistically keeps their hope alive for this tournament. And as long as they can give the same effort that they give against Italy and against Croatia, maybe they have a chance, maybe they have a chance.
Shut your ass up!
But it is going to be tough against this Spanish team, who ended up beating Italy in their last game 1-0. So in a game where they pretty much controlled the entire match, really Italy didn't have too many chances going for them. Spain did manage to go ahead after the top goal scorer of this tournament, own goal, struck at the 55th minute. A little bit unlucky for Italy there. However, game's the game. Spain go ahead 1-0, pretty much guaranteeing their slot into the next round, as they have 6 points now in the group. For Italy, not their best performance. They definitely regressed a lot from the match that they had last week, but as I said also in my last roundup, they weren't too impressive going forward, and this definitely showed again. Pretty solid defensively, as I mentioned, but if they can't figure that attack out, Croatia might be able to sneak up on them and get that win.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven.
So for the next group, we saw Slovenia play against Serbia. Again, probably on paper, not the match that you really wanted to see, but pretty even affair at the end of the day. After a relatively back and forth game, Slovenia would find their first goal at the 69th minute, which put some hope into the eyes of probably the biggest underdog in this group. However, has been a common theme so far in this video, a late goal saw Serbia equalize the game at the 95th minute. Again, these late goals, these guys are showing passion. They want to give their all to make sure their country has the best chance to move forward out of the group stage. Honestly, for both teams, we really just saw more of the same that we saw in the first match. Not too impressive going forward, but again, the passion was there. At the end of the day, the result was deserved. The next match after that saw Denmark play against England. I did also talk about this in the England video that I just dropped, talking about Southgate, their recent history, and kind of what's been going on this tournament. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that video out right now. Annotation is going to be right here for you guys. But Denmark versus England. So England, of course, had a ton of pressure going into this game after they didn't really impress too much against Serbia. Southgate ended up keeping the squad exactly the same, which a lot of people didn't really like. People like Trent didn't really have a good game. So there's that question mark, right? What's that deserved? Is this game going to go any better? Is it going to go any worse? And honestly, it probably went even worse than the first game. So England took their lead in the 18th minute after Kane essentially tapped in a free ball in the box. Kane's going to do what he do. He's a top striker. He knows where to be. He tapped it in, easy peasy. But after he tapped it in, England pretty much just powered in their shell and sat back for the next 15 minutes or so. And of course, Denmark, they're not going to just sit back. They have quality players. So they get their goal in the 34th minute after Holman strikes the ball into the back of the net from outside the box. So England got what they deserved. The rest of the match was really not too impressive for England either. They never really showed a lot of threat. Honestly, a back and forth game, which for England against Denmark should not be that close. A lot of players did not impress. Southgate with his tactics did not impress. Again, the pressure is ramping up for Southgate in this England team. At the moment, like I said, I'm recording this before the rest of the games happen. England sits in first, Denmark sits in second, Slovenia third, and Serbia in fourth. Alright, with Group D, we had the Poland versus Austria matchup first. So Poland, serial underachievers in this tournament, going up against Austria, which in my opinion is considered one of the dark horses for a good push in this tournament. The game went as you can expect. Austria got their first goal in the 9th minute. Poland, they did equalize the game at the 30th. But then from there, it was a little bit back and forth, but the quality from Austria ended up just showing out. They got the 2 more goals and they ended up winning the game relatively comfortably 3-1. After that, we had probably one of the most boring games of this tournament so far. One of the most disappointing performances from 2 teams in this tournament so far. Netherlands versus France, which ended up being 0-0. So of course, Mbappe completely missed this game, even though he was on the bench with the mask ready to go. He wouldn't see any time on the field though, and honestly, France without Mbappe looked extremely lost. I mentioned in the first video there didn't really seem to be much creativity for this French side, and this showed a lot more without Mbappe on the pitch. Dembele tried to do his thing, Griezmann tried to do his thing, but honestly, it was just not happening for them. The Netherlands really don't look very good at all. I think for them, this game, what made them look a little bit better was the fact that France really sucked this game. But ultimately, it was a very deserved 0-0 draw. I don't think either team really showed the quality to be the winner in this game. So shared a point each, very deserved. 2 very bad performances here from 2 very top teams. With that all said and done, the table looks pretty similar to how it did the first game week. Netherlands hit in first place, France hit in second, Austria third, and then Poland in fourth. So following group from that, Ukraine ended up playing against Slovakia, and they did exercise their demons from the last game. So if you didn't miss that first round of matches, Ukraine got pounded out by Romania pretty badly. So this game was a lot better for them, I'm not gonna lie. Even though at the beginning of the game, they didn't really have control and they ended up going down 1-0. But honestly, after that, Ukraine probably took the better control of the match. And after pushing for the game, they would find their equalizer at the 54th minute and then their winner at the 80th minute. So overall, a much stronger performance from Ukraine this time around. Showed a lot more resilience. And they ended up getting the win that they probably deserved. Too bad we didn't get the Zinchenko tears this time around. And then Belgium. Oh, Belgium. What can I say? So they did get their win. They beat Romania 2-0 relatively convincingly. However, Lukaku, again, this guy just loves to be offside. He loves to have stinkers and he loves to be offside. But luckily for him, he was bailed out by his teammates. Tielemans put in a very good goal 2 minutes into the match, which definitely helped their chances a ton. De Bruyne got his goal at the 80th minute. Big ups to Belgium. They also exercised their demons from the first match. So that leaves this group in a very, very, very interesting position. So the final week, we have Romania in first place, Belgium second, Slovakia third, and Ukraine fourth. But honestly, positions don't matter because at the moment, as you guys saw, every single team is on 3 points. Meaning, if you win, you go through automatically. And if you lose, you either finish in third or you're gone, depending on goal difference. Everything is to play for. If that didn't give you, as a player for one of these teams, the motivation to go out there and put on the performance of your lifetime, then I don't know what else does. But just give it all you got. This is what we play for. This is what we play for. So very interesting to see what happens happens with this group. And then in the final group, first game we had Georgia play against Czechia. Definitely not the performance that we saw from Georgia in the first match. A little bit of regression from them there. So they lost a little bit of that dark horse aura that they had going for them. In a game where honestly Czechia might have deserved to go through as the winners, ended up being 1-1. Georgia got their first goal as a result of a penalty just about at the end of halftime. And Czechia through Patrick Schick got their equalizer at the 60th minute. Czechia had a ton of shots and they had the very big share of possession. So they really gave it all they had, but ultimately with that keeper that Georgia have, it was going to be impossible to get through them. He was so good, he actually ended up getting the man of the match, which really again goes to show Czechia was trying their hardest, but this guy impossible to get past. So even though Czechia had the more shots, Georgia, I guess this is why you have good goalies. He did his job. And then we turn our attention to Ronaldo. They would play against Turkey, which again had that dark horse aura going for them after the first game. Portugal would win this game 3-0 pretty convincing. Ronaldo was making these defenders at the age of 39 look silly. He had a defender on the floor begging for mercy. Like, look at yourself in the mirror, Turkey, and ask yourself, is that really what you want to go out in this tournament for? But outside of that, Portugal did have a pretty strong hold on the game. Bernardo Silva would be the first one who got on the score sheet for them. After that, probably the dumbest own goal that I've ever seen. Makes it 2-0. And then Bruno Fernandes, beautiful, unselfish from Ronaldo, puts the ball in the back of the net. Easy peasy, Bob's your uncle. This game was a lot easier for Portugal and honestly a lot more impressive. They looked a lot more cohesive this game compared to the first one. Much better for them. Gives them a little bit more momentum going into the final game and also into the knockout stage. With that being done, the group currently looks as Portugal at first, Turkey as second, Czechia at third, and Georgia as fourth. But boys, that is everything that's happened in the Euros since I last recorded my previous video. Like I said, I know I'm a little bit late. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that noti bell. A lot of videos coming out, as many as I can get up. Thank you boys for watching. Thank you boys for your support. Very much appreciated. Peace.